This is 1.0-tastic. Guys. Hello. Welcome. We have made it. This is, first of all, I would like to thank the folks at Warner Chappell for realizing that the Happy Birthday song is not owned by them, so that we can open the show with that. And this is a submission from the Reason 1.0 Song Challenge, and I thought I'd switch up the song. First of all, I'm rocking the double glasses. I gotta pull off the double glasses. I'm gonna lose these in a second too. But this comes to us from, and I hope I'm saying this vaguely right, Ryota Sawaki. It was some Japanese characters that I got help in figuring out how to read. And he did this tune called Happy Birthday Reason. And I thought, you know what? We gotta go with it. We're gonna make it the opening here. So, hi, welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Reason's 20th anniversary. I think officially we're calling today, or maybe it was the 17th when we released the goodie bag. That might have been the official 20th anniversary. It's a little bit of a it's a soft birthday. There's not a specific day, I guess, in a way, because, when you're doing things early on like that, you aren't, like movies have very specific release dates, but like people who are making their first movie, you put it in a festival and then you go to another festival and then maybe it's in theaters and then maybe, when is the official release? When do you call that? And so Reason was a little bit of that when we were talking about when is the official 20th anniversary, there's a range. It's like late 2000. So late 2020 is the 20th anniversary. So anyway, all the same, it's going to drive me nuts here. So anyway, guys, welcome, and I see everyone going off there in the chat, so I'm happy to see people. I hope you guys sent in songs. I hope some of you out there are hoping and expecting maybe even to hear your song played in the live stream. I gotta say, we were overwhelmed with the number of tunes that got submitted. It was over 300, which, like, I really didn't think that's what we were going to be getting. That was fantastic. You guys did some amazing stuff. We were all just enjoying listening to these. But yeah. So, but what that means though is that we don't have time to play 300 songs on the stream. We've selected some of our favorites, and we're going to be playing those. So hopefully, if you're out there watching, it's one of yours. And if it's not, say mean things to us in the comments, or I don't know, don't do that. But anyway. Listen, let's bring on my compadres in the stream, because these guys are the guest of the hour as much as your songs are the guest of the hour. So let's bring them in here. This is, you guys that know them, you've seen them individually. You may have even seen them together. I think we did a stream together. Mattias and Ludvig, welcome to the stream.
Why, thank you very much.
Now,
thank you.
There you go. Yep. Thank you, Ludvig. Cool.
Thank you.
All this new technology,
I know. Well, how are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
I have to compliment Ludvig's background.
Yeah.
You've got the wingback chair. You've got the, what are those things called? And there's a name for, I always forget this name.
Headphones.
No, the thing on your wall, it's like a profile, but there's a chamomile? Is that, or no, that's a T. Cameo? Cameo, yeah.
Perhaps. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah.
Is that a famous Carlson?
No, it's Karl den 14 Johan, Charles the 14th, the first.
Who else would it be, Ryan?
King in Sweden. I don't know why it's there, but it's there.
I'm sorry I didn't.
Something, the house is old, okay? It's an old house.
I see.
But what I don't have is a functioning heat system in the house right now. So
that fire that's a utilitarian fire, not just
one of the main heat sources right now.
Emergency fire.
Yep.
Gotcha. Melody Klein says hello, Mattias and Ludvig. Johanni also says Ludvig Blofeld. Not quite sure.
Chat, though. He needs to Bond the villain.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my Bond references are not so great, but
you're too young.
I tried to watch them. But okay, so listen, it's arrived. It's upon us. Reason 20th birthday. First of all, Ludvig, starting with you, did you, when you were, I mean, you were around before Reason, so in the ReBirth era. Yes. So you were around for the development of Reason. When Reason was being developed, were you ever thinking ahead to what it would be to celebrate the 20th anniversary of this project, this new project that was in the office?
No, of course not. I mean, no. Everything was kind of just new and amazing. I wasn't involved in the development. I wasn't even working at Propeller at the time, but I was in the same office, so I saw everything happening. And but we were already kind of, riding on the success of ReBirth.
Right.
So it felt like the obvious thing to do, just to make something bigger and better and more real time and everything. Kind of that was as far as I recall, that was kind of the feeling there. We rolled with it.
But what surprises me about it is that Reason has had legs for 2 decades, and ReBirth was incredibly successful at the time. But then it just sort of, it kind of, did it officially end as Reason came in, or was there maybe there was a dovetail period where ReBirth was still kind of a thing being developed? But it's interesting to me that ReBirth, like, I'm trying to think of an analogy, but maybe it's not even an analogy-worthy thing. But it's sort of, if you think about things like movie franchises and stuff, when you've got a hit, you've got a successful thing going, that's the thing you keep developing. And yet it wasn't. It was this thing where Propeller had Reason Studios, at the time, the Propeller had brand, they just switched tracks and said, we're going all in on Reason instead of ReBirth. It's a bold move, I think, at the time.
Well, I don't think... I mean, it was a very small company, still a small company, but then it was really small. So we didn't have the luxury of actually really keeping 2 different, or even 3. We had Recycle as well. I mean, they couldn't be in active development at the same time. You could kind of maintain stuff, but you couldn't do new stuff. But let me tell you, because when I was looking for old stuff for this particular live stream, I didn't find any pictures or anything that I wanted to find, but I found a to-do list. When I started at Propellerhead, as we were then called, in 2004 as product manager, and having worked in the same office for 10 years before that. But at that point, I got a gigantic to-do list with stuff that was on the agenda, so to speak, and among those were actually discuss ReBirth 3. I have no memory of that, but that was obviously something we toyed with at that point. That was
right.
That was 4 years after Reason came.
There's a photo that I love that I used it in a video, and I actually have sitting up there my disc that I couldn't get my old disc to mount from 10 years ago, but it's on that disc if I ever got it to mount. It's this photo of ReBirth, and it's weird. It's a prototype thing, and it's got the ReBirth devices as we know them, and then beneath it, there's cables and jacks, and then there's these very crude kind of squiggly lines that are connecting devices, and it's this super weird. It's like the missing link fossil of ReBirth into Reason and stuff. And what I heard at the time,
that must have been the obvious thing to do, right? It's like, we have ReBirth, it's these 4 devices. But what if we could have more? Of course, you start with the ones you had, right?
Right. Yeah. Oh, so you're saying that was even probably the prototypical Reason, but it was like, let's just put these devices and then we'll build from there in what is Reason.
Yeah, maybe at least the thought, right?
Right. Because that's what I was wondering. Was it that they were trying to experiment with putting cables into ReBirth? Well, I guess at the time that it's a distinction without a difference. You're either,
I seem to recall there was, Pelle had one application called, I think, XLab or something like that. It was very early, and Marcus had something called Techno Studio. I don't remember if these were both something that became Reason, or if one of them were kind of what became ReBirth. But I think they were kind of, I think when they did ReBirth, and now I don't remember what I did last week, so it's really hard. But I think it was like this, that when they started out and decided to do ReBirth, they kind of scaled down what they already had, not only for to be able to sell it and package it, but also to make it work on the hardware. That was, I mean, that Techno Studio, Reason wouldn't have run very well at the time when ReBirth was introduced.
Right. That's something I remember. I think I might have talked to Ernst about this. That ReBirth was the perfect vehicle at the time for what was really slow latency on computers. You couldn't, like, computers were still not great at doing live playing, and so okay, cool. Well, the 303, the 808, the 909, they're pattern devices, so you aren't You don't have to worry about latency.
Yeah. You could see the very same thing in the early days of iOS and Android, which I thought was interesting because there was a lot of challenges with having, low latency audio and recording on an early iOS or Android, where you don't quite know the hardware.
Android. Yeah,
you didn't know what hardware people would have, right? So the really great Android apps were all step sequencing apps.
Right.
I remember when the Figure came out, there was a lot of people asking for the Android version. But since it was built for real-time input, it was actually quite a challenge compared to if it would have been like ReBirth, with each step, one button, one click, and it doesn't matter if it takes 1 second or 1 millisecond.
Stefan, by the way, in the comment section says, Ludde is such a Missgubbe. Missgubbe. Yeah.
Yes, I am. I'm such a Missgubbe. That's correct.
There's two things in it.
Spotted, Stefan.
Two things in that comment. First, maybe we should translate Missgubbe for people, but also people that may not know the Swedish nickname system. Ludde is the nickname, I guess, for Ludvig, right? There's all.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there, Mattias? Is there a Swedish common nickname for Mattias?
Matte.
There was a time where I was Matte, which follows the exact same rules as Ludde.
Yeah, right.
You just stop the name midway and add an E.
It's the same with Joachim goes to Jocke. Yeah.
Stefan could be Steffe.
No, really?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Ryan sadly could not be Raji.
Raya. Yeah, it doesn't quite work. Yeah, that's But so a translation for Missgubbe. Anyone? Miss is cozy, right?
Yes.
Gubbe.
Gubbe is an old man. So.
Yeah, I guess.
But it's not. Gubbe is also like.
Like in the way that he's using it, it would be more like OG, right? Like
Lego Gubbe. Gubbe, like
it's like almost character at times.
Okay, gotcha.
Cozy character.
A cozy character.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Well, all right. There you go. That's the Swedish lesson.
Name more 20th anniversary.
Yep, right.
Well, listen. So we've got a lot of songs that I do want to play. I do also want to kind of chit chat about some recent history and some, like, I mean, you guys are kind of interesting in a way that you were around Ludvig from not day one of the company, but sort of you were in the environment at least during the development of Reason. And Mattias, you came in almost to the exact midpoint, almost around 2010. So we've got we've got sort of the and then I started yesterday. So we've covered all the bases.
That's true. I think the first version Ludde managed and released, Reason 3, was also the reason I bought my original Reason.
Oh, interesting. All compliments to Ludvig, I'm sure. But and
Combinator.
Yeah, the Combinator really. Like, I was a keyboard player in maybe it's equivalent to high school, and when I wanted to pick my computer software, the important thing was that I should be able to play cool sounds. That's all I wanted to do. I just want to play cool sounds. And Reason 3 just came out, and with the Combinator, suddenly everything just sounded really, really good. If you compared, the sound examples to all the other DAWs and applications at the time, it was like, what's this weird, folk synth and reverb, and I didn't understand anything, of course.
My understanding, though, and Ludvig, you probably were around for this, was that the Combinator was something of a mixed reception. When it was debuted at the NAMM show, I had heard that people didn't quite get it yet, and it wasn't until they started actually being able to use it, or people started showing what it was capable of, that the buttons started clicking. That it's like, oh, one knob addresses several things, and I can access more settings, and
Right. I mean, it's not very sexy to look at, is it? But yeah, I think you're right. I think there was some,
It's just opened up a lot of things, I think. And what you didn't, when you looked at it, like you said, it's these four things and these four things, and that's not as cool as
Right.
another
But it was
emulation. But
it was designed to go hand in hand with remote, which was also something that came with Reason 3, that allowed you to really control stuff from like a control surface or a keyboard with knobs and stuff. You couldn't do that. You could do that, but in a much more complicated way before that. And so, Reason 3 was kind of internally known as the workstation killer. That was what we were aiming for, competing with big workstations. So you could just dial up a sound and everything sounded very good, and you could have knobs on your keyboard controlling stuff,
right,
and so on. So
and that was some of the philosophical departure from where Reason had been before that, where Reason was, I mean, I remember Reason 1 when I started using it, that it was, the philosophy seemed to be, we will give you the raw ingredients, but they will be raw ingredients, and you make something with it. And that's incredibly experimental and fun to play with. But it's also, if you're just starting, if all you loaded in was a subtractor and there's no reverb on it, there's no delay, there's no, you load up drums and there's no compression on it. Like it can be almost, almost too raw in a way.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think we'll see a bit of that with the songs, because one of the ones that I really liked, and I think we're going to play later, part of why I like it is that it shows exactly what you're saying, that this was from a time where if you did techno at the time, you would have your sampler. That was expensive, so you had one sampler. You would have your drum machine. That was expensive, so you would have the one drum machine, and you would have one, maybe two synthesizers, if you're lucky. And those 4 machines was how you had to do it. And you had a bit of, outboard gear, maybe a reverb, a cheap reverb, and, mixer.
Right.
And that way of working made some, excuse my language, fucking amazing techno songs. However, when it came to just playing, really expressive, amazing sounds, or do like the live keyboard workstation thing, of course, it was not quite there yet. I think that's why I bought Reason 3, because I wanted to do the like, grang, and everyone goes, wow, what's that?
Right? Yeah, right.
I don't know how old I was. I must have been 15, 16 something.
It's got to be, for someone who came into music making in the last, even 15 years, but certainly in the last decade, it's got to be almost impossible to imagine that thing you're talking about, where it's like, I want to make electronic music, and I'm going to go out to the store and I'm going to buy a drum machine, and that one thing is what I can do all my drums with. And then
wait for 3 paychecks.
Yes, right. Yeah, right. And then I'm going to go buy my bass synth, and now I can do bass lines, and then once you had acquired 3 or 4 things, it's like, that is what I have. Or sometimes there were these little, like, what was that, the Yamaha QY20 or something, where it's like a general MIDI thing, but all your sounds are in there, and that's just all you used. I remember talking to Rob Pappin, and he said that when, I think it was him, he said that when him and he had a buddy that used to do gigs, they were going out like sort of on the club scene and playing gigs, and they brought their Korg MS-20 and an organ. And they brought the organ because it was polyphonic. It was the only thing that was polyphonic.
Yeah, right.
So
you could do chords.
You could do chords. Even though like an organ was like, it's a relatively square sounding, sorry, I know Ludwig, your jazz sensibilities probably love the organ. But in a club setting, I don't think people think of organ as being like the club instrument these days, But that's what they had. So it was like, all right, we'll bring our organ and our one synth, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
It's great. So should we check out a song, and then we'll kind of pop in and out of...
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
So
cool songs.
Let's... I've got a bunch of songs here in no particular order. I guess I'll go... Oh, you know what I was going to do? Okay, I marked a couple of some honorable mentions. Maybe I'll do some honorable mentions first, or should we come back to those if we have time remaining? What's the smart way to do that? Let's do a non-honorable mention.
You're Mr. Producer here, so I'm gonna put all of my faith in you.
I'm just gonna go maybe at random here. Let's take. Oh, actually, okay, yeah, okay. I just clicked on one. It's Joachim Tenander. How would you say that?
Tenander, yeah.
Tenander.
I mentioned, so that's perfect.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
Explain what I meant.
So let's pop this one open. I'm gonna play a little bit of this one, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. One thing, by the way, I noticed when going through these, a lot of people, I'm assuming it's because they're running Reason in a dark mode, a lot of people did this thing where they set all of their clip colors to dark red. And it was like, it's not just 1 or 2, it was like a bunch of people did that.
No. I think what's happening is that they actually imported it from an earlier version of Reason before clip colors. I think it's something like that. Don't you think?
Oh,
I think this is
I
some.
would guess
This
so.
is actually these are actually songs made in Reason.
Yeah, that's what I
1, 2,
about
3,
this
4,
one too.
5.
gotcha.
It's an original.
Gotcha.
And
Okay, well
then
let's take a
everything kind
little
of
bit.
just defaults to the same clip.
Let's take a little bit of a listen then. This is Joachim Tenander. It's called Crash Dance Falling, and I'm gonna skip the intro a little bit. Classic.
Gotta get the fill now.
Yeah, is Phil coming up?
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
That's so good.
Oh, this
So-
is very
This one
much.
still works.
This is Reason 1.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull this down while we're talking about it. So this is what you're talking about, Mattias, with like
Yeah. This is
classic house music, right?
Yeah. This would be the continuation of if ReBirth was stemmed from the techno studio, this would just be the next version of the techno studio at the time, right?
Right. That's a good way to say it.
Because
Yeah.
suddenly you rely more on samplers. That became more obvious. And in this track, there's actually a lot of samplers. There's
I'm
only one synthesizer in there, really.
Yeah, I'm looking at it here. We got the Nina 19s here doing.
Yep.
So there's a bass, light buzzer, okay,
Yeah.
and dance 2. Is that maybe a drum loop?
Yeah, there's probably a couple of custom samples.
Hits.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so
Like
chord
you know,
hits.
the chord that goes da da da.
yeah.
That's
Oh
a sampled
right.
chord.
Oh right. Of course.
And they used the bread-based Subtractor patch. I did that. I made
Yep.
that.
Oh, you made that. There you go.
That's still one of the best things I think with this job is hearing a song on the radio or anywhere and hearing like, I made that patch.
Yeah. Have you guys had that experience? I say I don't make patches, so I don't get that experience. But
I have actually.
Ludvig has, yeah.
oh, that is so
I don't
cool.
remember that. I think Stefan pointed something out to me.
Yeah.
But,
I had one or two of those too, which is great.
I mean, I know with like for example, Stromae, his breakthrough hit "Alors on Danse" uses a lot of factory-based sounds, and I think it's actually maybe the way that we first clued into the fact that he was using Reason was that was it, if I'm remembering this correctly, Axel, not to Spurs, Ernst's son, was working. I think with Support at the time, and he heard the song and he was like, wait, I know that sound, and he went into Reason and he found it, and then he's like, wait a second, oh, wait, and that's this, and that's this,
And
he
I know
started-
this sound.
yeah, and in fact, even Alors on Danse is at 120 BPM, which means that like when the song was created, it was just like command new factory soundback songs,
Standard tempo.
and that's the tune, which is pretty fun, certainly for the people that made those patches too, as well, I'm sure.
There's a fun side note of this song is that Joachim Tenander was also the manager of our local or ex-local music store, 4Sound. So I met him a couple of times.
or Estrad, as it was.
Or
known at the
Estrad, as it
time.
was back in the day, right?
Yeah.
So I've had recent demos for him, not knowing that he was, of course, an old school Reason user who did amazing techno back in the day. It must
Gotcha.
have been pretty funny.
I think it's fun with that song because that sounds so very, very much like what we heard during the early days.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Reason. I mean, I must admit that I like it much better now than I did then, because I was never into techno at all at that point. I mean,
Right.
I have a great appreciation for that kind of relentless drive.
Right.
nowadays.
It's kind of funny because this, like, techno is gonna keep being techno for a while. This wouldn't be wrong in any kind of club today, right? They're still playing the tracks from that era, and they sound similar to this. And you could go to Berlin and end up somewhere, and this would kind of be the thing you heard.
Right.
And I remember I didn't understand that until much later. When I started with Reason, all I wanted to do was video game music and play keyboards, right? So I didn't know anything about the techno background. That was not something for me. But later on, as I kind of used it more and learned, I came across a bunch of artists like Andreas Tilliander, a famous Swedish techno artist.
Mhm.
And he, of course, had done some tracks in Reason where he sampled all his gear and so on. So it took me a while to get the appreciation of how important it must have been for that kind of electronic music scene at the time.
Right. Well, I know a guy called Jared who is his Acid House. I think that still qualifies as part of this traditional thing. I remember going to a gig. I was filming him for something we were doing, but it was in like 2013 or 14. And when he went on stage with 2 laptops running Reason, and he's just queuing things off, and it's like they're his turntables, you know, it's just different Reason
and they
files.
weren't synced, right? They were just running.
I don't think they were synced. I think he's just queuing them off.
Yeah,
like,
just play.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It works.
That's great.
It was.
I mean, you always make do with what you have. It's quite clear, you know, when you had track limitations due to your computer rather than there being 8 tracks, right?
Right.
And you just have to make do with. Right. I can load up this many and this. Oh, and then I need that compressor and reverb too. Okay, and then it's probably stopped, right? So,
right.
it definitely brought some creativity.
Johanni says that Joachim makes music under the moniker of Machine Brent today, he thinks. So there you go. If anyone's watching and wants to hear what 20 years of artistic development has done, look up Machine Brent.
No pressure.
Cool. Let's check out another one here. Hang on.
Let's go.
What's it going to be?
What's it going to be?
I'll go up to the top. Let's get Adam Wiz.
Oh, yeah.
And it's called Track Defaulted to Yellow Blues. And let's see first of all, I'm just going to scan through this. This one's got a lot of mixers, a lot of half-rack device effects.
Yeah.
I'm opening this too.
This is kind of the opposite.
Exactly.
This does not sound like the song sounded in the recent one.
Right.
This is clearly made in 11.
You know, people watching this that are used to Reason 11 might take for granted the fact that we're hearing vocals in this, but there's a trick that's being done to make that even possible here.
Oh, such a good group.
You know what sort of reminds me of is Reason 5's Purple Ribbons.
Yeah. I would say that this sound wasn't around at that time at all.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's kind of a new. I don't even know what it would be.
Yeah, that sort of neo soul vibe or whatever.
Yeah, but it has that kind of, you know, people who went to Berkeley vibe.
Right.
You know?
It's you hear this like square wave. Like that's some of that fusion of like.
Yeah, exactly.
Mixing in some of that techno stuff into R&B.
And those bends and those mutes.
Right.
Yeah, it's really fun. I like it.
Yeah, it's really, you're right. That is an interesting thing. I think something I didn't think any of us considered until we started listening to these songs is that, you know, some people that submitted songs, like the first one we heard, it's literally they open up a song on a backup disc from 2001 and they submitted that, and so we're hearing it's like a time capsule. It's the Jurassic Park mosquito and amber.
I never even thought of that.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually not like the devices that will limit what we're hearing. It's like what have you heard? You know, what kind of music do you like?
Right. A track like this, and now watch Adam will post a comment and say, no, I made this in 2002. But tracks like this is like, yeah, we're hearing the 20 years of musical influence then put back onto what was available in Reason 1. And that's a thing I didn't really...
I mean, it's a great job applying, using those small compressors and making it sound like this. And it's not easy.
Yeah.
That's a skill.
Some skill. I just got to put another log in the fire.
Yeah, go do that.
Go on.
There are a couple of tunes like that where I was listening to it and I was like, these drums are hitting really hard. And I have to
right?
I got to give it to them. There's some people that are engineering their tunes in effectively Reason 1, far better than I ever did in Reason 1. And arguably better than I could in Reason 11 even. I mean,
yeah, it's super impressive.
You know.
And I think that the great thing here is that there's a combination of both completely understanding the synths, because like that first pad sound, it's an init patch. So Adam, he has obviously put that together himself, right?
Right.
At the same time, there's also this great musicality where there's a groove and there's a great chords.
Right.
It's a great sounding track. Good work.
Chords have more than 3 notes.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't do that stuff.
I gotta hand it to him as well, by the way. Look at this. Adam thinking ahead. He puts matrices in the rack so that he can use the tape to say SoundCloud and Twitter at Verlin Tokyo. Is that Verlin _Tokyo? And then he's got some form of emoji thing. Cheers. Yeah. So
he deserves that attention.
He does, absolutely.
And I see he used Acid Saw 2000, a patch by me.
Oh, is that true?
It's automatically just better. It's from the recent 20 refill. If you haven't picked up your goodie bag.
See, I don't recognize those titles. Now wait, what is the what part does he use? Let's solo that acid.
Probably just as an acid saw.
I'm trying to figure out.
I think he's doubling the bass.
There's no way I'm going to possibly be able to figure this out by looking at the mixer. This is the thing I've noticed when I was opening some of these song files is I want to just go to the mix channel and solo things, and because that's not there, it's like, oh no, I have to
you can always scroll to connected device from the back.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, so where is that's smart. Where's the
it's at the very top of the left-hand rack.
He's using it as bass. It's the bass line, part of the bass line.
Yeah, it's doubling the bass, I think.
It's the square bass line. But wait, he said acid saw, but it sounded like a square.
I think it's doubled with the second subtractor there.
But I soloed it.
Oh, here we go. Wait, you saw? Okay, wait. I think I got it. Is it this thing? Let's see. Yeah, it's that.
I mean, he has tweaked it. It's a triangle.
Oh wait, no, it's not that.
Isn't it?
No, I think it is. I just can't. I can't figure this out on the fly. All right. Well, anyway, all the same. So maybe it's a point worth mentioning, though. If anybody hasn't downloaded that goodie bag, head over to our blog because there is a refill of cool sounds, and some of them are classic Reason sounds, and some of them are, like we said, these sounds that nobody would have imagined making in 2001, and so you're getting 2020 sounds using classic devices.
I think someone noticed Ludvig's hoodie, and it's not completely yellow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, wait. So, who's going to model this for us even better? This is
just stretching a little bit.
But see, now you guys are actually being very cruel because this is Reason 20th anniversary merch that only you get to even I don't have it. So
why don't you have it?
Because I live in a land far away.
Because it's right here.
All right.
I'm sorry.
But now you're gonna have people in the comments wanting this merch, and this is not something that it's not publicly available.
We gotta have something great for us to work here. Something exclusive.
They are cool. They are cool. They are definitely some cool designs. We should shout out. It was Andreas, right? That
Andreas.
Yes. Yep. Andreas did the designs for both the t-shirt and the hoodie.
And for those who don't know, Andreas is the one who does basically all our device graphics. Basically, he's our graphic designer. So he has done
in the rack. We should make a point to shout out.
Rack, yes.
You know, anything you see on the website, emails, all that stuff. That's Matilda, and then
absolutely,
and then
the Maya
inside Reason.
Yeah,
and
the
device. Yeah,
as such.
Cool.
I sometimes call him a pixel pusher, which I think is a compliment, but it sounds really mean.
Yeah, it's got the soulless schlep into work, push some pixels around.
I got friends in the game industry that happily call themselves pixel pushers. So I think that's in my head.
There's some offers coming in. Literary Squirrel says, "I'll trade my organ for your hoodie."
All right.
Which organ though?
What is it? What kind of model?
Yeah, it's a kidney maybe.
My C3 is. Oh, it's an organ like that. Okay. No, I don't really.
Oh, you thought he was going to trade you his liver or something for?
Yeah, I was
No.
more thinking liver, and he was thinking Hammond B3. So
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
different priorities in life, I guess.
Clip Wilson, yes, we need Reza merch. I agree, Clip. I think that's it's being discussed. I'm not privy to those discussions, so I can't say anything else other than that. But yeah. All right, let's check out another tune.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go to. Oh, are one of you guys being clever and labeling these in the Dropbox as we play them?
Sirree.
Matthias.
This is why I'm the product manager.
That is a very managerial skill you've just displayed there. Yep. Okay, so let's check.
I'm organizing.
Let's check out. I'm going to open Chris Jones in Eldectics, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And let's check it out. Oh, I remember this one, I think.
Or do one I said it took a long time for it to get started.
Oh, you know what? I wonder if I put up. I should mention to people that I am going to be jumping around on some of these. There's a loop markers. I wonder if I put them there. I'm going to jump to bar 62, 3, and we'll just see what's going on here. So yeah, this is just one of those, like, it's so rich, you know, there's so much going on and it's just so rich. And almost, Matthias, am I wrong in saying that this feels like it almost takes influence from some of the sort of game music aesthetic that is part of your world?
Definitely could. I mean, I'm recognizing that kind of stuff. Then again, I'm challenged by that. I always recognize game music stuff in any music.
No, but that's what I thought as well, actually, in a way. Again, I think this is also something that I didn't hear back in the recent one.
Right.
Yeah, the sound is very newish that way, right?
Right.
Oh, this is a nice breakdown. I'm going to turn up the breakdown for a second.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, it's beautiful.
There's also some really classic patches there. Chronic Lead, I think that must have been there since recent one. Like
yes.
First patches.
Let me scroll down. We'll find Chronic Lead.
It's way at the right.
Oh wait, I'm looking in the looking in the sequencer here. I realize sequencer is the place where I can solo things easier, like art melody.
Right, sure.
There's that one. That's all pretty.
Yeah, Funk Lead, also classic patch.
Which one? Funk Lead?
Yeah, that was Funk Lead.
Oh, that was Funk Lead. Oh, okay.
I know this maybe too well. I spent many hours.
This is your world. You should know these, absolutely. Yeah, you know, with the stuff like in that breakdown that was going on, this thing. Oh no, that wasn't it. Around here, this. This is such a nice example of the, like, you know, there's a trick when people are learning production. There's a trick to learn. You sort of keep throwing things at, like, come up with a line, then put something on top of it, then put something on top of that, and then there's a point where you reach a diminishing return where you can put too much on, but there's a point where you can have put not enough on, and and this is a nice balance of that. It's like there's a lot going on, but it's not overwhelming. It's all complementary. So.
Someone's going with the deep video game cuts in the chat, saying it sounds like Blinks the Time Traveler. That's a real old school Xbox game.
Oh, okay.
You should play back from like bar 44 or something like that.
Sure.
Because that's kind of, he's building up in a nice way, and then it suddenly kind of opens up. I like
cool. Yeah, let's take a listen.
A couple of bars later.
This is almost Owl City.
Yeah, right. And there it goes. Nice. Kind of opens up in the stereo width as well.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That's great. It's funny because it's I'm only now starting to understand the the fusion of all these styles as things have been going on in the last 20 years. Mattias, you said something that hit me where you were like, everything sounds, you hear the game music connection in everything at times, which I hear it in nothing because I'm not a gamer. But what I hear, I heard it a little bit in this. Then I think of Owl City. Then I think of things like sort of that saccharine pop Katy Perry stuff. And that is, I'm starting to realize that is all coming from, it's like there's a direct line you can draw from like Sonic the Hedgehog's original soundtrack to Katy Perry Fireworks in a way that I would have never really thought of.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You got to remember that all those like producers are constantly becoming younger and younger, right? And they'll have different influences, I'm sure. Like I know a bunch of them are, roughly my age, from or younger, like 25, 35. They grew up with video games that actually had an impact on music the same way someone who's like roughly 10 years old, they grew up with Commodore 64, and that made a difference with the, liking synth sounds more.
Right. Gotcha.
That's a whole different topic. That's that's all I studied at university.
Gotcha. Well, this is a great tune. So, Chris, well done, Chris Jones.
Yeah, well done.
He put something in a song title that I assume he put it there because he wanted people to know. I think this seems to be a way to reach him. It says cnjones@pm.me, and I guess that maybe that's an email. Maybe he doesn't want that being on the stream, but now it is, Chris. Don't put it in your song title.
Mistake.
If anybody wants to collaborate with him, I guess that's his email.
Or send him stuff.
Let me do one quickly here as a this is one I called an honorable mention because of, I just want to show people this. So when I opened up Spencer Burridge's tune, this is really a visual thing. First of all, I saw in the sequencer, I'm going to zoom in. Actually, I don't even need to zoom in. You can see it. He's used automation to spell out reason in the sequencer window, which I thought was kind of cool. And that caught my attention. But then watch this, guys. I'm going to zoom in on screen here for a second. And let's see if I move out as one. I forget how to use this program. There we go. Okay, so now watch this mixer while I play this tune. This is a classic. Hang on, is there a way to turn it down? No. Okay. This is a classic thing that big pro mixers and studios used to do when they were trying to sell. They were trying to sell a $200,000 console that had mixer automation, and the way that they would sell it to people was by going, "Look what the faders can do," and they would do all these animations. And so Chris Spencer did this in his. I gotta tell you, in the days, in the days of the early days of motorized fader automation, that was amazing. To do it on screen is like taken for granted now, but that really was amazing. And I remember the first mixer, hardware mixer that I got that had motorized automation was what was that called? Yamaha, is their first digital mixer,
01X.
Pro Mix 01 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sure.
And it had motorized faders, and I had to, this is before Reason, I had to buy an early version of Logic that would, it's all coming back to me. I couldn't figure out Logic. I bought Logic, and then I couldn't use it because I just didn't understand it. And so there was a company that made Yamaha Pro Mix 01 automation software, which really was just it was just a sequencer, but it was just wrapped up in a direct way to communicate with that. And I remember the first time I started moving those faders, and I was just staring at it, and it was like, oh my God. So thanks for the memory, Spencer.
Yeah, that was fun to see.
If we charged $200,000 for Reason 1.0, he could have really sold quite a few units of that.
Yeah. It would have been quite the show.
All right, let's go to Greg Albing. Can't Take Me Alive. Here. He's got a little message in his song information. He says, only features and rack units available in Reason 1.0. Congratulations on 20 years of Reason. Thank you there. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a listen to Greg's. Oh. Now, Mattias, do you hear just a subtle hint of game music influence in this?
Very tiny nod.
I would have never thought of it, but I'm almost starting to sense that.
Yeah.
But see now, I love the like acoustic drums on this.
Dublab Heavy Kit 1.
Is that what it is?
Oh yeah, that's one of the first.
There's something about that melody. I'm going to jump back for a second. There's something about that melody in the B section too that almost sounds like a TV theme song to me, like sort of sitcom. This.
Yep.
You know,
Like
it's like a
Mike
show.
Post style.
Yeah.
It's also that it has the MacGyver syndrome where they just keep on going down with the chords like that.
Oh, wait,
Yeah, right.
that's what's happening? The chords are going lower and lower and lower, you mean?
They're transposing them down in the same way. It's the same kind of chord structure.
Oh,
Except
cool.
the MacGyver one, it never ends. That's the great thing about it.
Really?
MacGyver never ends.
Oh my gosh. But so
this was funny. The great thing I think here is that for authenticity in the video game music sound, low bandwidth is turned on for the first 3 or 4 subtractors.
no wait, now
That's to get that extra crispy aliasing.
explain that to people. So there's a switch
There's
on
a little switch called low BW on Subtractor.
Is it on
and
the
I believe
Oh wait, where is
it's on
it?
the
It's on the
front.
front? Oh, okay.
just underneath the patch selector.
Oh yeah, low bandwidth. I
Yeah.
honestly don't think I've ever played with that
very few
switch.
People notice it.
Introduces interesting aliasing
Yeah,
artifacts.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, though, I think that exists because the original Subtractor was perhaps not the perfect idealized version of Subtractor. It had a bit of aliasing. Light was really important compared to sound good, because
Yeah.
it was super early computer time. And then they updated it, but to make sure it was fully compatible and songs sounded the same.
Nah, that's not the case.
not the case?
I'm correcting you because you're wrong.
Yes, please. That's when you're
Because the low bandwidth switch was there from the beginning because computers were not very powerful when Reason came. So that was a way to be able to run.
So it was never updated, but it was
No, it was always there as an option. So you could do that if, for example, if you were running bass sound, you could save some DSP power by activating low bandwidth and not going very high.
Right.
So that was in there from the very get-go.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Ah.
Because
But the reasoning was the same.
remember that I actually looked this up, and I hope I got it right, because VST Instruments came around 1 year before Reason, so in 1999. So it's roughly 1 year.
Sorry if you hear a cat.
So it was very young, this whole thing of actually. So and slapping lots and lots of subtractors and the 90s and red drums into the same song like this, that was not an easy task. Many computers couldn't handle that at all.
Right.
So you had to be very conservative with the CPU cycles or whatever.
It's like that scene in Apollo 13 where they're trying to like power up the module with a certain amperage. You had to calculate things very carefully, and the stakes were just as high. It was life and death if you got it wrong back in 2000. It
was a different world of thinking there.
Yeah, but this is great. So this is just like super happy vibes. I don't think I've ever been able to make, and this is partially I think comes from being not a gamer, but there's like a just this melodic happiness to these lines that my soul is too dark to be able to actually make.
That's a bit alien to me as well. Actually,
it's really hard to write stuff that's happy but also sounds honestly happy.
Yes.
Because it often sounds, happy, but like sarcastic insult to happy.
Right. Yeah, like, come on.
Here's just.
I also love that. What is that? What's the name for that? That blop, blop, blop noise that's going on there.
And that's how you how you had to do chords when you just had the monophonic
Right.
voices in video games.
So
right?
it's just a
So
quick
the chords
arpeggio?
had to just do super quick arpeggio.
Oh, I never knew, because I associate it more to like, I thought it was the musical equivalent of like the jumping noise that would be done back then, where like boing, boing,
Which
boing.
is the same thing.
Could
You have
be
that
the same.
oscillator, and you need to make that oscillator take the quickest arpeggio upwards that you can, and that's boing. That's what it is.
Oh, interesting.
Pitch bend wasn't really there in the 8-bit era of kind of resolution. So
Let me see if I can
you'd
zoom
have
in
to
and find out
quickly go on.
where that noise is happening. I can't possibly find this. Nope, it's not that.
I have so many animals here. I can hardly move. It's horrible.
No.
But what
not-
you don't know,
There it
audience,
is.
there it is.
Nice.
I mean, it's great.
Yeah, effective still.
It's still effective, yeah. And just a really basic, just a basic subtractor doing the job.
And in the world post Reason 1, you can just use an arpeggiator, put it really quick, and do short notes, and you're good. You
Right.
do chords.
Joey's asking us to show the Easter egg with the screws, so I guess we'll go ahead and do this. I think it's the lower screw on Subtractor, right? If I wait,
Isn't it? I can't remember.
I think it's
I
the,
think it's the top right.
I think you're wrong. Oh, okay. No,
I think it's any screw.
and
But
what?
it's definitely the top right.
But
and
nothing
the top
seems to happen.
left.
Doesn't it work anymore?
No.
Have they removed it? Yeah, okay. No, I did it now.
It
Wait,
works on
what's the
Mac.
control key? Is it Command?
No.
Oh, you have to
Click and
drag it upwards.
Oh wait,
Click
there.
and
Wait,
drag upwards.
I found one. Okay, the
Oh.
lower right. So there we go. Okay,
all,
so-
all of them.
Upwards.
All of them. Click, drag upwards.
all of them?
All
Of
yes.
them. I know.
But
what I'm-
don't do all four because it will actually fall out.
Yeah. It's a
Danger,
good thing.
danger.
I mean, I'd have to plug 3 other mouses into my.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I mean, some recent user, I think one of our trusted test pilots, actually reminded us that there were other Easter eggs in the very first beginning.
Yes.
The first version. And I don't really remember that stuff about like the matrix display showing extra information if you clicked somewhere and something else.
There's a couple of those, right? Yeah, and I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they
were
were either.
removed at some point.
Oh,
and I
were
don't
they?
know
Oh,
why.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently.
So now, as someone who was at least in the office during this time, Ludwig, do you remember any discussion about those Easter eggs and should we do them? And
No,
No.
I don't think I was privy to that advanced.
I'm
level.
somewhat
I
somewhat
think
amazed.
Easter eggs, they tend to be a developer going rogue, right?
Yep.
But it's
It
crazy to me
tends to be
because, like,
someone
with
going,
all that needed to get done for Reason 1, like, in some ways, it blows my mind that Reason 1 was pulled off by the team that it was in the time that it was. And from my understanding of what I know at the time, it was like, Marcus Zetterquist was, sleeping 1 hour a night and living at the office for days at a time. And,
He was sleeping at daytime, I think. I mean,
He would never sleep at night.
Working during night.
That's
He would never sleep.
unheard of.
Right. But so with all that, it was amazing that it even got pulled off. But that with all that got pulled off, that anyone took the time to be like, this will be funny. I'll do a little screw thing. Like, it's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but I think that's the way it works, even if it's
I think so.
crunch time and so on.
I guess that's what keeps you sane in some
Find
ways.
time to do something. Yeah.
Someone asked, can you automate those screws? No, you can't automate the screws.
Oh, that would be cool.
That would be cool. But then you run the risk if you
Perhaps
automate all four.
unnecessary, but cool.
If you automate all four, then it would fall out. So maybe
Right.
that was a safety feature.
Right.
So
When you load up another song, I'm gonna go feed my cat, or he's gonna
You have a
probably
cat as
kill
well?
me. Yes,
It's
he's
actually
right there.
already on the
Yes,
Do you want-
he's
on the
ready.
stove.
do you want to show your
He's ready
cat? Because
for food.
it's
Just
possible.
turn on the hot
Yes,
plate.
I will bring the cat here real quick, but then I'll give it food. And
Okay,
This is not that I don't love you, recent users. It's that I really love the cat.
I
So you
will.
can
I
look
will
at-
load
look
up.
at my cat and dog. Meanwhile,
Oh my God. I'm sitting here all alone. I have no furry friends. Although I guess technically, when people understand when Mattias brings his cat, he also doesn't have a furry friend.
Exactly.
Here it comes. This is well, I guess we'll let Mattias introduce him. Look at this guy. Oh, he doesn't have headphones on, so we can't hear us. That is,
Mattias. He doesn't.
it's Arum, Aurum, Aurum.
All right.
That was a very accepting. Okay, if you say so. Yeah, Mattias is cat cat sitting, or he's sort of fostering. That's the word I'm looking for. This is somebody else's cat that I think, I'm going to tell the story in a way I can't remember now, but I think it has something to do with people who actually will be getting this cat, can't get this cat until COVID restrictions are lifted and the cat can travel. And so now Mattias is a foster dad. So
Yes, foster cat.
Foster cat, Aurum, right? That's the name, is how you say it? Aurum?
Arum's the name of the cat. It's
That's
the best cat. He is very vocal though, which makes him not the best live stream partner.
I mean, if he has any insights about Reason 1.0, he could be great. So.
Yeah, there's one really important point that's
perfect. Well, let's take a listen. I've loaded up here now. Renee Frenet, I'm Coming for You. And let's just check this one out and see what's going on. I'm looking down at the rack right now, and we've got, I think this might be our first entry of some Rex loops into the equation. Oh, I see. Actually, I'm noticing. Now we're not gonna ding him for it, but he's using 2 Rex loops in one device, which technically that's reason 5, but we're not gonna hold it against Renee. Okay, let's check out this tune. I remember it being a good one. Now, hang on. That is so cool. Like,
Yeah.
That's just reason 1 or reason 11. That is so cool.
It's still cool, yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that he's doing it within the confines of reason 1 is just...
He's doing it with the red drum.
Yeah.
He's doing it with the red drum, automating the
sample start.
No, is that where it's happening? Wait,
that's what's happening.
What track is it? I want to solo it for a second.
It's the one called Granular. And you can check during the build-up on bar 21, you'll see the velocity to sample start, and the sample start is automated.
Come on.
I know, right?
I mean, I love it. All right, let's listen to some more. International Command says Ghost in the Shell vibes. Is that true, Mattias? You're my resident Ghost in the Shell expert, even if you're not.
I would say yes.
Okay.
I know what I'm doing in my mix.
Spongle vibes.
Yeah, Spongle vibes, exactly.
Spongle, yes! Totally. I
think something it's easy to forget that this track also shows that I talked about before. It's just how much you relied on samples before, because the sounds you could get out of the software instruments were, not that impressive compared to some pre-recorded, produced, EQ'd, compressed, worked sample or loop that someone had spent hours getting right.
I agree.
Yeah. Also, you got to remember that like the 90s were when samplers were kind of that was the sound then.
Yeah, it kind of happened, right?
Loops and sample. Yeah, exactly. So
and sample manipulation in that way. Like this wasn't just sort of doing like, fluff flex or whatever Duran Duran was doing, It's like it was actually
it just happened, as I recall it. I mean, during the 90s, a bit earlier obviously than Reason, but it just kind of it became commonly available. Samplers were not so very, very expensive anymore, and there were lots of them all over the place.
And now those very same samplers are very expensive.
Yes, I know. You know what? It's funny though, because I looked at the Akai S3000. I think those go for quite a bit of money these days, and I maybe even at my brother's house, still have an Akai S6000, which was their flagship, amazing one with the removable faceplate and the whole thing. And I was like, oh, well, if the 3000 is worth a lot, what's that? And it's worth nothing. Nobody wants the S6000.
It's because a famous artist didn't say they used the 3000. That tends to be how it goes.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so it goes along with all my other gear that, like my Lexicon Reverb that I sold for $50. I think I bought it for...
Don't even.
Terrible.
Well, software's better anyway.
Yes, exactly. See, that's right. Cool. Well, that one is just really fun. I gotta hand it to cool. Renee Fournette for that one. And something that, like that, I'm gonna dig into that sample start trick a little more and try it out myself, because
can be done with the NN19 as well, but it cannot be done with the NNXT. Yep. But obviously nowadays we have grain, so everything is kind of
it's great.
Yeah.
Gotcha. There's a request coming in from Stefan. He wants to hear more of this track, so let's play a little more of it. Sorry, this is totally random, but I don't know if that's a synth or a sample. You hear that thing going like, arr, arr, arr. Do you remember the old viral video of the woman stomping grapes, and she falls over and she gets the wind knocked out of her, and she goes like, arr, arr, arr. She makes this horrible noise in total pain. No? Stomping grapes? Anyone in the comments remember the stomping grapes lady? Yeah, totally. Arr, arr. I can't not hear it.
It's really nice. The piano melody is really nice over those chords, though.
Yeah, and the piano melody has a sort of, I'm getting a little bit of a like Nine Inch Nails closer vibe with the delay that's on it and stuff, Partially the sort of minor tonality as well, but
and it's the fact that it's not only minor tonality, it's both major and minor.
Oh, is it?
Major, minor.
Gotcha. That's what it is, huh? Yeah. What is that? Is that coming from? Must be from an NN19, right? The piano.
Piano, I guess.
It's the only option it could be coming from. Huh. All right, there you go, Stefan. You got a little extra there. I'm going to close Renee Fournette's, and we only got one left in folder 1. This was when we have some more time, so I'm gonna keep you guys around a little longer, keep playing some. But let's take a look at Thomas. Wait, it's called Water Temple. Thomas Hozo. I don't know. Let's take a listen. Oh yeah. I'm gonna skip ahead just a little bit on this one.
It's also very 90s or early 2000 to me.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's a little bit like those. What's the genre name I'm looking for here?
I was gonna go sort of Portishead.
Yeah, Massive Attack at Portishead, right?
Yeah, it's
trip hop.
Yeah, trip hop. Sort of.
Thank you.
Yeah, also
it's like trip hop, but I guess even the beat's a bit trip hop, but it's sort of got the signature like electric piano and then reverb on everything, so it's just swimming.
That never gets old. I think just add more reverb. That's
that little reverb that the RV7, it was pretty good at the time. Yeah.
You know what I noticed when I was playing around with patches for the Reason goodie bag, the 20th anniversary goodie bag, us three were making some Reason 1.0 patches. And I rediscovered my love for that RV7 in a way that I overlook it because, like, of course, go for the RV7000, but it's like, wait, no, why? Why go for the RV7000? Like, why do that as a default? Why not consider it? And I sort of really fell in love again with the very digital algorithms that are in that RV7. For sure. Particularly the Hall.
I mean, one of the most classic user tests shows that any synth or gear with wood panels sound better than those without, regardless of what's in it, right? I think it's the same thing in effect. Like RV7000, it's definitely one size bigger.
It's right.
Oh, yeah, sure. And comparing the M-class EQ with the 2-band parametric EQ.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that was...
The parametric bands on the M-class are basically the same algorithm as the PEQ2. Now you heard it.
Yeah. You said it. You can't unsay it.
Yeah, it's just a larger range, and you can see the frequencies and stuff like that.
There was one of those. I don't know if this story might be too complicated to explain on live stream. I'll try. I know there's a thing with in the Dr. Groove mixer. There's these templates for the MPC type of shuffle, right?
Yep.
And someone was telling me at the time that when the Reason team set out to map that perfect classic MPC shuffle, they looked at it when they measured it. It's just a literal mathematical. There's nothing unique about it being like special MPC shuffle. It's just 57% shuffle would be exactly what algorithmically you would do if you wanted 57% shuffle. And even so, there's a thing where people it's like, no, but I want the MPC 57%. Like they just want it. So they put a folder and they called it MPC 57%. And it's like, there you go. You've got it. You know, there's nothing special about it, but you've got it there.
I'm pretty sure someone actually recorded something from an MPC and that's what we have. I think so.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
quite remember that.
That's what I think that's
sure that it was like
yes.
Right. It's not that it's not the MPC shuffle. It's just that once they did that, they were like, oh, wait a second. That is just
that's what it was.
To the sample, that would be what it would be if you just typed, whatever, times 0.57.
Did you hear that he used the bass guitar Subtractor patch? And it sounds fantastic in the mix. It just sounds like in bar, let's say bar 53 or something like that.
Okay, let me go to bar 53. We'll listen to the whole mix and then we'll zoom in on it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
It just.
I'm gonna solo
good.
that.
That's the default patch.
That's
for
the default.
Subtractor
That's
nowadays.
right.
That's so often. So
And
often.
I never use it, and I often think, no offense to the creator of that patch, but whenever I load it, I go like, who thinks that sounds like a bass? That sounds nothing like a bass. And now I'm confronted with the reality that the limitation is me. It's been me all along. My own closed mind.
I think that might be a Pelle patch, actually.
Is it?
Peter Jewell. Yeah.
But what a great example also,
in a synth.
There
if you find a patch in a synth that's called an instrument name, it tends to be a Pelle patch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
He finds it's his personal challenge to see, but can I make this sound like a violin?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Emmanuel Mayer says, long live bass guitar. He's a fan of the patch. Yeah, this is a classic example of, you can get so much out of a patch. If you think like a bass player and play it, you get far more mileage out of it than if you think like a banjo player on a keyboard that he can't really play.
But no one thinks that.
No one would be that insane.
No.
But here, I'm going to solo for a second. Let's listen to a little bit of bass. It's got that like P bass with flat wounds kind of vibe.
Yeah, doesn't it? I mean, obviously the pitch bends don't sound.
When you solo it, I mean, it does sort of poke its head out as the uncanny valley raises its head a little more, and it's like, it is a subtractive synth. But in the mix,
Good
it just works.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's great. That was a good find, Ludvig. Thank you. That is awesome. Well, okay, let's see. Now, I had a couple. Why did I have a couple other honorable mentions? Oh, yeah. Should we play this one, this Bobby, I'm trying to see. Bankalari track?
Absolutely.
Now,
Yeah.
this got honorable mention because of these guys. There's some M-class compressors in here. So, technically speaking, I don't know, we shouldn't do it, but it's so well done. And I almost wanted to take the time and go through and delete the M-class compressors. Oh, there's a Scream 4 in there too. Scream 4. Oh my God. This, Bobby. Okay, we're gonna play.
It was just so different.
It's so different, yeah. So
musically different. So.
Musically, yeah. Let's play a little bit, and then we'll all tisk it for breaking the rules. But it's still musically well done. Getting Clockwork Orange vibes.
This is switched on mariachi.
Switched on mariachi, yeah. So it's so well done, and there's an RV7000. Yay!
I mean, close it.
Bobby,
close this.
You're out of here. You're out of here, Bobby.
Tear down this wall.
But it's so well done, and it was so. Yeah,
it's fantastic.
I can only assume that those are mistakes of just unawareness that he was using those devices, because what he has is so close to being. If he had just swapped that for an RV7 and not use the fold back distortion, like he could have pulled that stuff out, and it would be a totally valid Reason 1 song, but it's still rather well done. So way to go, Bobby. And then this one I tossed this one in because Emmanuel's in the audience. I maybe some of you others are as well, but Emmanuel's in the audience, so I thought we'd play a little bit of Emmanuel Mayer's tune before we move to the other folder. I'll just jump in here. Getting sort of Dre vibes. Emmanuel said in the comments that he put his blood and sweat into making this tune, and when I look through the sequencer, you can certainly see that there's a lot going on, a lot of thought that went into this, and a cool vibe.
Yeah. This also has a bit of that kind of 90s split out.
Yeah. There's
I really like that.
Yeah, it's the stuff, like I remember when Reason first came out, and it was going to be the techno studio, that was sort of the thinking of it. And then, you have your own intentions when you're making something, but then people will use it in whatever other way. And when this stuff started popping up, I remember that I knew those guys back then. I didn't work with them, but I knew them. They were all sort of pleasantly surprised when they'd hear things like this, and it was the kind of music they never expected. When they weren't making Reason for this music, but it was perfectly valid to make it, and so right. Of course. Yeah. So, way to go, Emmanuel.
Yeah, hip hop was late to Stockholm, Sweden, globally.
Yes, exactly.
They weren't really on top of those trends, I think. But I think that's part of the most one of the things that makes me the most happy. I think about Reason is that they might have originally designed it for certain things, but it's taking on this life and in all kinds of ways they didn't think about it, and being huge in hip hop in the US was one of those things that I think is amazing.
Well, there's a really nice back and forth that happens with that too, which is that, like, I know in the time that I've been around Reason Studios that people will do something with Reason that was unexpected, and then it will find its way into, like, for example, players like Drum Sequencer have features in it that are there because not of the way that we or Reason may have been originally conceived, but instead the way that people started using it, and then the features kind of trickle back up into the programs to, you know what I mean? Like like if that sample start trick that who was that? Renee did in his, if that was like became a huge trend, suddenly you'd see, that wouldn't just be a thing that you can do via automation. It would, like, there'd be a device that does that little sample stutter or whatever. Like, so I always like the influence that the software has on the music maker, but then the music maker has on the software. All right, let's, you guys got time for a few more?
Sure.
Yeah.
Are you asking us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asking the audience?
No, the audience will just, watch me boil rice if we just keep the camera on. Everyone's happy to hang out, and I'm happy to hang out with them. So, but let's jump into folder 2, and we'll grab a couple of those. These are just all at random. In fact, I've been choosing them. Mattias, do you have Dropbox open in front of you? You want to just shout something out from folder 2?
The very bottom one by Ville, perhaps.
Okay.
Sure.
Cool.
Because I wanted to say Ville.
Is it a Swedish name?
Finnish.
Could be, but I think it's Finnish.
Oh, Finnish, double A and double K. Is that Jakkula? Is that?
I won't even try because...
I'll try.
My 2 brothers are half Finnish, and they make fun of me every time I try to pronounce anything.
All right. Let's take a listen here.
This is very much with the times, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
What now? If I can ask the stupid question, would we call this trance?
I think I would. What I think is fun with this is once you look into the sequencer and see how he got this giant sound.
Yeah.
This was life before the Combinator. That's why I think this is a fun track.
Now, you mean because he's got like a pad?
Yeah, that giant saw sound is literally 8 subtractors playing the same thing.
Wait a second. We're gonna dig into this. Hang on a second. Let me turn this up a little.
Why is he using only one oscillator on the subtractor? That seems just like...
That's counterintuitive.
That's lazy to me, isn't it? Maybe he wants every single oscillator to be on its particular position in the pan.
So wait, so am I correct to say that if I solo... So if I turn some of these off, we should be hearing... Is it all just like slightly different settings on...
Yeah, take the
detune.
Oh, yeah.
And detune them panned.
So if I go... Let's go back here. Okay, maybe this is...
We're getting a bit more.
Yep. Bring in some more. We'll go back.
But this would literally require a supercomputer back in the day.
Right back in the day, absolutely.
And you would never do this without also activating oscillator 2 on the subtractors. I mean, maximizing.
Yes. So this is why
This
is why you react to it, Ludwig, because this would be
back
in the day.
Offended.
The idea that you would use 8, if we think of this in the plugin sort of world, it'd be like using 8 plugins to do what you could do with 4, and why would you do that?
That's not even a consideration anymore. Even with like top of the line plugins, often you can just rack them up, and people end up with these giant tracks with the 80 tracks of different effects, and which to be fair you don't always need, but you don't have any reason not to nowadays. So you can just
right. Yeah. So Woody's Piano Shack says probably you couldn't run 8 subtractors in 2000. Certainly not on when you think about it in 2000 you weren't. Most people weren't buying a computer to run music software on. They just had a computer and they got music software. And so the computer you had would have been the compact whatever, with some small amount of RAM. It was the thing that you got to do Microsoft Word and email, and now you can run music software on it. But we weren't yet thinking about, okay, I get what's the faster processor, and I'm going to get and forget dual core and all that. None of that.
Right.
Caveman times.
The Power Mac G3 was introduced in 1999. I see here, because I had to look it up, and that was kind of top of the line, I think.
Power Mac G3. I remember them. Yeah. I remember the Quadras and the Centras before that.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was the Subtractor made a bunch of these sounds if you stack them up like this, but you really couldn't. But then Reason 3, quickly computers had evolved, and the Combinator meant that we could actually do some, yes, let's take 4 subtractors and pan and detune.
Right.
That was part of the promise. So you wouldn't have to do all these sequencer tracks.
And we also introduced a unison.
And also the unison device in 2.5.
Oh, right. Because some of what's being done here, like I'm going to look at this other one, saw oscillator 1 through 7. And let's take a look at just some of those here. I'm going to turn them on as we go.
It sounds nice though, doesn't it?
It does. What's interesting too, in a way, I think as a learning tool, I would say that a lot of people, to a lot of people getting started, a lot of this stuff is a total mystery. They hear that sound in a record and they go, "Oh, that sounds great." And then they load up a subtractor and they get this.
Right.
And that's nice.
Yeah.
But that it's like there's something missing, and what is it? I can't tell you how many times early on and still to this day, but early on in learning music production, I would just sit there and go, I know I'm missing something, but I don't know what I'm missing.
And that's why Europa is the way it is, right? That in every oscillator, you can just do what he did with 7 tracks.
Right.
So this is just, it's one Europa oscillator made with 7 subtractors, kind of.
Yes, right. It sounds great.
It sounds fantastic. I really am a sucker for this kind of old school trance. I think it's
I mean, the super saw.
Yeah, the super saw.
That came with, if I'm not wrong, it came with the Roland JP8000. Their answer to the Nordly, their virtual analog synthesizer, and they introduced the super saw.
Wait, so the JP, is that the one? It's like a rack device, like a 2U rack device?
No. It's a 4-octave synth.
I must be thinking of something else.
Yeah, and I'm cheating by looking at Wikipedia, but it came out at the same time as Access Virus, right?
Was Virus that early? I didn't know
97,
that.
because that's a typical Virus was a trance synth.
Yeah.
For real. That's what you got because it could do that.
Right. I was just telling someone the other day. It's funny. I'm remembering back to those days. So I didn't know that. I didn't remember that at the time I wanted to make music like this, but I didn't know what tools I needed. And I didn't know that the Virus existed. I had a friend who got a Waldorf 4-pole Waldorf filter, and that sounded cool. I was like, "Ooh, I got to get one of those now," And I remember I had another friend who desperately wanted to make techno music, and she asked someone who made techno music, "What do I need in order to make it?" And the advice she was given was, "You need to get a DAT recorder and a Digitech Jam Man looper." And that was it. And so she went out and bought that, and then she played guitar. So she was sitting in her room, like with the looper, recording guitar loops to DAT tapes and being like, this isn't right. Where's the techno?
Where is the money?
We talked, when she told me about that, she was like, looking back, she's like, was that like a sabotage move where like I asked them how do you make techno and they just sent me down the wrong path, just like
early trolling?
Yeah, like an early trolling or something. Yeah, totally. It's terrible. So anyway, all the same, super saws, well done, Ville Jakula.
Well done.
Great track. Let's go for another one. Do you have the Dropbox folder in front of you, Ludvig? You want to throw out a tune suggestion?
I do. Hold on.
Folder 2.
Yeah, folder 2. DJ Smix, please.
DJ Smix. Some of these names, by the way.
Leave and soon come back.
Are you gonna? Okay, sure. This is Mattias didn't want to tell us he has a long-standing beef with DJ Smix. He refuses to listen to. No, he doesn't know. Okay, let's take a listen to DJ Smix.
Bass guitar again.
Oh, wait, that's the bass guitar? It is, isn't it? Well, I got to solo that.
But it's distorted.
It's distorted, yeah. Is that distorted just through the regular
I don't know. I got to check it out. He's folded everything so no one can see what he's done.
You know what, Ludvig? I got to say, a couple people, I caught them. I had to disqualify some submissions because they would put devices They leave the Reason 1 devices very visible and expanded, and then there'd be these little collapsed things, and I'd see it, and it was a Combinator, and I'd open it up, and there'd be players in there, and, you know, some were VST plugins. There was all sorts of stuff. I was like, oh, you sneaky guys trying to sneak the stuff in. But yeah, where's that distortion coming from?
He has a sound. He's running a sound from, this is like being a forensic.
I know.
Scroll to connected device. Oh, there we go. Yep.
Oh, PQ.
Okay, so send 4 on that mixer goes to a distortion unit. So that's what's happening.
I see. Yep.
See it?
Yep. Okay, let's take a listen.
So it's automating that sound, I think.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yep. Lots and lots of stock presets here. And no, not lots and lots, but things we recognize.
Are these like things like bass guitar? Was that in since Reason 1.0? Has that been around since then?
I think so, but I don't quite remember. I think so. I'm pretty sure. Why I chose this one is because it sounds very like of that time.
Yeah, it's got that sort of square pusher. You know, the breakbeat.
Also, you kind of recognize some of the stock sounds in both red drum kits and loops and stuff like that.
Right.
Which I think is nice. It's kind of takes you back a little bit.
Let's see if I can solo the drums for a second.
As you can tell, the cat is currently going crazy running around. That's why I had to see if I could get him put down in his blanket. It didn't work.
Not put down.
Yeah, no, don't.
It's not actually yours.
It's pretty harsh.
Don't be a sociopath with your cat.
Put him to sleep.
No. Don't go there.
But yeah, I love this stuff. I don't make enough of this. I should do more of this.
That was the holy grail. When I started, I wanted to really I wanted to play stuff.
Yeah.
But is what you can do with like a computer now? Can you do these breakbeats?
Right.
And the answer to me was no, you can't, because I really tried, and it was really hard.
Yes, it is really. It actually is really hard.
Figure it out. It's like, but it pitches up and down, and I don't get it.
But it's pretty cool though that the drum and bass genre is like. I mean, Recycle had a part in all that. It was obviously there before it because it was sped up, like records being used, but they saw something there when they did Recycle this, and they saw an opening, so to speak. There was room in the market for a tool that could do this in a very good way without changing the pitch and so on.
Right.
So, and that indeed, when that was released, I guess that was in '94. I don't quite remember, but
Recycle was '94.
Yeah, and that in turn kind of affected the next wave of drum and bass and jungle or whatever.
Right, because it made that chopping so efficient that you could.
Yeah, so that's what you talk about: music affecting the software and software affecting. The music,
right.
Go back and forth.
I'm trying to figure out, is this?
Yeah. I think that's cool. There's a couple of those really defining things. I think like classic the 808 and 303 everyone thinks about, but it's pretty cool that Recycle is one of those.
Yeah.
That feels good.
Absolutely.
When you wake up in the morning.
Absolutely. Now I've gotten a message from Stefan over in Mission Control, and he is imploring us to play Johan Strandlund's tune. So we're going to do that. And he actually even told me, I don't know why he told me this, but he said, Ryan, move your bubble face and play Johan Strandlund. So, okay, fair enough. I will do that. I don't know if there's something happening in the corner that is very important, but let's take a listen to Johan's thing. Stefan, why did I move my bubble face? What am I missing in the corner that was here? Oh, wait. I think I see it.
So wide. What do you see now?
Side chaining. Hang on.
What?
Wait, I gotta pause this. The mixer is side chaining. The faders for if you guys
Right.
do you have it open right? String filter and pad when I was playing that are bouncing up and down via sidechain. There's I
It's
think
automated, right?
it must be automated because there wasn't sidechain.
No, there were no sidechain compressor. I mean, that was. I also did a song for this, just out of contest, and it became quite, I mean, obvious that the compressor, the only compressor that we had then, was not very easy to use in an efficient way.
I found myself when I use it, I find myself compressing at ratios far higher than I would on.
Well, it's
other
automatic makeup gain, which is not always what you want. It can be really
Yeah, right.
hard to-
Especially if you want to do like effect compression, right? You want to be able to dial that in.
But the other way of there would be possible to actually do some kind of sidechain equivalent would be to use CV to faders, because all the faders had CV in on the mixer, and also the master level has a CV input as well. Yeah.
Oh, of course they do.
Run, let's say, matrices or
you would probably want an envelope from something, though.
I'm trying to figure out how he actually is doing the sidechain.
He's automating.
But I don't see the automation in the sequencer. Where's that?
You're right. It's not automation. I'm wrong. Sorry. But it's automated. I mean, obviously it is.
It has to be because there's.
Go to track for sidechain EF. Yeah, there is the automation.
Oh, is there?
Sorry for the cat noise.
No,
the yellow.
I'm not hearing the cat. Oh, I do hear the cat. Oh, there it is. Yeah. I see it.
Yeah.
That's.
So that was one way of doing it. But then again, that typical sidechain pumping thing that didn't exist at that time. It existed obviously, but it wasn't used. It wasn't a.
Yeah.
I want to be a super.
Sidechain was for moving stuff out the way for the kick for the mix, so to speak.
Yes, right.
Right, exactly, or for ducking something, or
right, making the vocals pop in when something else goes away, right?
Creating a de-esser or something like
that. Should we be super mean and say, Jan, you're disqualified because your automation uses curved automation, which what is that? Reason 11.2 or something?
Absolutely not. That's totally okay. Totally okay.
It's totally okay. It's totally okay. But that's a clever solution there to get that. We'll listen to a little bit more. It's a great track.
Sounds really good. It has that modern retro vibe.
It's a what? Wait, hang on. Let me turn it down.
It's that modern retro vibe.
Modern retro, synthwave. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's clearly 80s inspired, but sounds way cooler than it did in the 80s.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's good because you can see it's been using EQs all over the place, just to kind of remove some bottom and top from sounds here and there. You see it?
Yeah.
There are small EQ devices.
You're talking about stuff like, hang on, I'm going to zoom in on the screen here. He's got like on this kick EQ, he's just rolling off the low end.
Yeah, and the snare is rolling off the top end.
Right.
Make it fatter and so on.
This was a thing that, when in Reason 11 standalone, you've got the mixer with the. Well, even in Reason, the rack plugin, you've got the mixer EQ device that's got the high and low roll off, and it's sort of a natural thing to reach for now, and I think it's commonly known the kind of clarity that you can get in your mix. When Reason 1 came out, I know as someone who was even an engineering student, I still didn't fully appreciate how often I should be putting that on things to kind of sculpt and slot. Good track, though.
Yeah.
It is nice.
Someone made a good point in the comments. Such a modern sound with only simple tricks. I think it's easy to underestimate how much you can get done with little, and I think that's part of why we wanted to do this, right? Not only because Subtractor came out 20 years ago, but also to, see if people could get inspired by the limitations.
Totally.
It seems people definitely
yeah. And when we did the anniversary refill, we did some Subtractor patches, and I haven't done Subtractor patches for quite a few years actually, but it was fun to dive into that again. And it's a strange combination of being have some very special tricks like the phase shifting and all those waveforms and stuff like that, and also being very limited. For example, I mean, if you have an LFO, you can choose to send that LFO to exactly one destination. You have to decide, I want this to go there. End of story, which is a way of doing synthesizer design that you don't do nowadays. Usually you do it in the other, and you have like, so how much do I want to from the LFO in the filter, and how much do I want from the pitch? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
also,
right.
Another great quirk I think that I didn't appreciate until I did this is in Subtractor's design is how much can be controlled with velocity. It's a big section that's just dedicated to velocity. So if you play your sounds and just try turning some of those up, that will program patches in a way you don't in other systems, because you tend to only do. Yeah, that's definitely a Pelle thing where he's a great keyboard player.
Yeah,
it's clear that that's part of now it can be expressive, because if you load up like a really modern popular synthesizers, velocity tends to show up at the loudness of the sound, the amp envelope and the filter envelope, and then it tends to not really show up that much more.
Yes, right.
So that, I think that was great, diving back into that and seeing like the quirks and the upsides of that design.
That's an interesting. I hadn't thought of that. A sound designer who designs sounds for keyboard players would design it one way, but a keyboard player who designs sounds will come at it from a different angle. That's interesting.
Right. You probably test the patches differently too. Like if you, like me, sometimes don't have a keyboard and you do your QWERTY keyboard, and you're used to doing drums, you just go high velocity, keep it the same, it's cool.
Right.
But if you have a weighted keyboard and you're a keyboard player, you go, nothing's happening when I'm playing harder. Let's fix that.
Right. Okay, so now I'm aware that the time is getting late and Ludvig's fire has gone out, which I'm worrying about hypothermia for him. Oh no, maybe it's still going.
I scared my animals.
My many
I think I can save it.
Okay.
You go on.
You scared my animal too.
But I figure I'll play another one here, and then you guys just give me a little wink when you're like,
if you heard, audience, if you heard that loud screeching noise, that's one of the yet another animal at Ludde's house.
Oh, was that a bird?
That was the parrot. Yeah.
Oh. I heard it and I didn't even think much of it. I just thought it was the sound of a log being put in a fire.
It was nice hearing the bird.
I'm going to play this tune by King at Play called 20 Years Trip. And I just got to give him kudos before I click play. He used the song information window to sort of crib off of the graphics that we put out for the 20th anniversary. So it's got a nice little graphic there. Okay, let's take a listen to King at Play 20 Years Trip. Must be a lot of Rex loops in this one.
Yeah, and it's I
know the guitar
a little bit of cheating there going on in a way, because those loops are definitely not Reason 1 loops.
Aha! So you're saying...
But they could theoretically have been. So.
They could have been, sure. But they weren't.
No, but now in defense of King of Play here, if we go back into a Reason 1 mindset, there was nothing to stop you from, if you had Recycle, Rexing your loops and bringing them into Reason.
Right.
So
that's right.
That's okay.
That's okay.
But yeah, like stuff like this.
It's fun because that kind of makes me,
Kind of makes you what?
Reminisce a little bit, because when I started out in Reason 3, which was also, as Mattias said, his first version, one of the big things that there was, we added so much to this factory sound bank, including all those guitar loops. There were no guitar loops at all.
Right.
I think, yeah, maybe 1 or 2 guitar, very strange wah-wah loops in the first version. But then we added lots of interesting loops and percussion loops and whatever stuff that made it possible to sound like anything really.
Right.
Not just techno. It was kind of a conscious effort.
And I heard that much later when I started. I started working with you guys in just before Reason 6, I think. Just before Reason 6. It's almost 10 years ago. But it's when I started that I understood that it had been perhaps not a debate, but at least a conscious decision. It's like, okay, we're gonna compromise on this techno, focused electronic music studio, and there's gonna be some double bass and there's gonna be some organs, and there's always been an interesting push-pull there in Reason, I think, where you get stuff like Matrix and Subtractor and redrum built in, right? Yeah. And then you get some samplers and stuff, but then you also get Reason drum kits, and then you also get,
Yeah, it's what I think it was actually was that, I mean, it was techno and whatever, electronica, stuff like that, but there was also kind of a not underdog perspective. I'm not sure the word I'm looking for, but there was kind of an envy of real music going on.
Yeah,
I think that was no one said that, but I think there was that kind of that mindset in a way which should be possible to make like real music with too. So like with guitars and things and drums that sounds like real acoustic drums.
Right.
That somewhere in back of some people's heads that was kind of going on.
Yeah.
That's why we did all the.
That makes sense. I mean, I remember going to the NAMM show. I would go and just, I knew the Propellerhead guys socially as friends, and I would go down to the NAMM show to hang out at the booth and see what they were, showing off or whatever.
When was this?
Since 99 really, but no, 2001. That was my first NAMM show. So, and then years.
You've really been along for the whole ride, for the whole Reason ride.
I was in 99, I visited the second office that was not Östgötagatan and not Roselandsgatan, but there was another one.
Tullstorget.
Is that yes, that one.
I don't know, yeah. That one.
That was the one that was it's like I remember it being like a loft space or something. There was like angled ceilings. It was kind of a weird space. But I do. I go back socially, but what I remember at the NAMM show was that push of like, look, you can use Reason if you're a gospel choir, like you can use Reason too. And there was that big push to like show the things that aren't techno and that it could do.
And it kind of it worked in many ways, right? I wouldn't have bought it otherwise, for example. And I think a lot of people, the workstation killer thing was very real then, because buying a workstation was incredible amounts of money.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, there was also a sense that, we don't need to do content products that focus on like techno or synth, because A, we already got those synths inside, and B, there are other people who can do that better than us.
Right.
That was very weird, but I know that was said. So instead, we did stuff like Reason drum kits, which was an excellent product for sure.
Right.
Fantastic amount of work, but still.
There's
weird, a kind of a way, like a wish to steer away.
I think that if I were to say like one thing that I think has been the best thing for Reason as a product, and now I'm both user and product manager hat on here, is that I think it is that kind of we refuse to be boxed into being just one thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Always refuse that. There's always something interesting we could try. There's always something new, exciting over here that could be interesting to explore, And for better or worse, I think that has made Reason really what it is today, right? That all kinds of people do all kinds of stuff, and it's inspiring for all of them, rather than being, something like the absolute best mastering compressor in the world. That's a cool thing.
Yeah.
But that's not what we want to be, right?
I honestly think it was the right move in a way, because if we had stuck to, like said, we're only going to do like techno or whatever, we wouldn't be here today. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there's something to be said that, 20 years is a long time.
Right.
for some parts of that 20 years, it was not interesting to do, techno was not the genre on people's mind, so to speak. I mean, in fact, it wasn't until, the big EDM rise again that was kind of popular music again, right? So
another way of looking at it is actually that reason hasn't been genre driven at all. It hasn't been, that hasn't been the driving force. It has been the tools, the environment, the sounds in a way, but the devices, what you can do with it.
Sure. Yeah, the driving principle is the love of synths.
Yeah.
Not the love of a type of music you can make with synths.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think that's great because it also means that, like we noticed with Subtractor, it means that can stand on its own two legs in a bunch of different scenarios. I think if we look back like 5 or 10 years from now and look back on stuff like, I'm not going to mention product names, but things that specifically do a certain kind of sidechain compression, or specifically do a certain kind of time stretch down pitching, or a certain kind of vocal effects, those would just be retro chic, and you would go, haha, remember that sound? That was weird,
Right.
And that's also that's also a difference from ReBirth, I would say, because obviously that was based on existing hardware devices, but it was also kind of much more focused on certain types of genres.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You couldn't have gone, I really like trip hop. Well, I guess you could have, but it would have been much harder to say, I really like trip hop, I'm going to use ReBirth.
It was kind of tailored for a certain type of music.
Right.
Yeah. I found this old video of a Swedish folk band that I really liked that play Scandinavian folk rock. And they used ReBirth in one of their tracks. There's this great old video of Hoven Droven using ReBirth in the studio. So apparently it appealed to some other people.
Yeah, I remember that we were amazed that, I think it was the bass player of Mötley Crüe, I think, who was an early ReBirth user.
Oh, really? Nikki Sixx?
Yes.
That's incredible to me.
That's funny.
we used ReBirth in Swedish Hot Synth Quintet, our very weird project band that made vintage jazz on vintage synthesizers, and we kind of allowed ReBirth with a special jazz mod.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
But that's now vintage, so
it's a very vintage.
But you think about the stuff that Herbie Hancock, Chick Corea, like that. Those guys weren't sticking to the traditional stuff. That's kind of what moved them and the genre forward. So we had a comment come in from Matt. I can't how I'm going to say this. Mattias Wittivin. How was that for the worst attempt at pronunciation?
I learned that if you try to pronounce Dutch, you just pretend you're pronouncing Swedish. It's pretty much the same. I got around with that when I was touring.
So would that be Mattias, with the Y being the Mattias?
Yeah, Mattias Wittivin.
Mattias Wittivin.
Like that.
Okay.
Or Wittivin.
He saw his name in the folder and got excited, and so I thought we gotta play it. Plus,
of course,
he opens his track with the old school, not just the propeller head brand, but the 1.0 propeller head logo that was sort of an homage to an actual propeller of sorts.
Yeah, and I really, really wish I had my very first propeller head T-shirt here, but I don't, because it had that particular logo, and it was like hand printed by Ernst at his home. And he kind of on the very first company party or something like that.
Oh, amazing!
They were kind and made one for me as well, even though I was actually part of the company. But I still have it.
It's amazing. All right, so let me play a little bit of Mattias's track here. I'm going to jump to bar 18 because that looks like that's where the sequencer is really kind of kicking off. So let's take a listen. Oh. This is another one of those that feels like, yes, it's using Reason 1 devices, but this doesn't exist in a world that Deadmau5 hasn't happened yet,
Right, yeah.
That sort of progressive, muted synth.
And it would not have been running on any computer in year 2000. I think there are 40 Subtractors here.
Oh, oh my God, there are. Right. God, someone for fun. Matthias, you should send this to someone who still has a G3 and see what happens.
But you're right in that progressive house kind of sound where it's really plucky.
That
soft.
plucky. What is that? Is that what it is? A plucky saw?
I think so, but you didn't really. Now I might just be showing that I don't know that much music from the 90s, but you didn't really hear that kind of really short but still big sound in that way. That wasn't the.
Not in the way it's being used here. It's mostly in the musical execution of it. It's not the sound itself. The way that sound was being used would have been an arpeggio that would slowly open up to the build. So you do like a do 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 do.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that was happening. But to do it as a sort of like in that beginning. Oh wait, when I just turned on the click track. Let me find it again. That, like when it's doing those like double stop chords.
I don't think the word plucks were used then for that type of sound. Maybe they're not used. It's not used for that. That's kind of a mystery to me because it seems like different sound designers and different users kind of define the word pluck or the type of sound.
Yeah, what they really mean is staccato, right?
Yeah, maybe
but it has to have some release too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I've seen other examples where it definitely has no release. Okay, now everything is happening at the same time here. Tyst, jag är på TV! and the parrot is shrieking in his cage and everything is...
Oh my gosh. Well, maybe that's... I'm going to play a little more of this one, but maybe that's it's the signal that we should wrap up soon. So... I'm curious that do. I'm trying to.
The vocals. Right.
Yeah, that's got to be. I mean, it's obvious. Oh, here, voices. It's this track. I'm gonna solo it.
And this is also a little bit game music, but a totally different type of game, much more modern type of game.
Yeah.
Damn it. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's modern game music.
Yeah.
Yeah, but great track.
Like epic.
Mattias, glad you've commented. Glad we grabbed it. Now what do you say? We'll do one more and then we'll let you guys go tend to your birds and your cats.
Yeah, that one with the intro you should do, don't you think?
Oh, that's right. Where's that one?
It's in folder.
What folder is it in?
The one.
I was in folder. Oh, did I skipped? That was one of my honorable mentions. That's right. Is that Jamie Scanlon? It might be.
Find out.
Yes, it is. Yes. Okay. We liked the intro of this one, so we'll play the intro part because Jamie went and grabbed two little blasts from the past on the Sonics here. Take a listen.
Hi there, everybody. How you doing? You okay?
Now. So two things, two points of interest on that. First of all, this sound. I'm not sure if people know that was sound designed by Josh Mobley, who did a famous Reason 4 demo song. I think it was Reason 4, right? It was a very popular demo song at the time. Josh is an amazing sound designer. He does sound design for games and apps, and he did the the Sonos Bluetooth speakers. When you click the buttons on the Sonos Bluetooths and they make a little like bling, I'm doing a terrible version, but like the little click click like noises that happen.
Yeah.
He does those sound design things. He did them in Reason, and he was telling me I actually want to have him on the stream probably to talk about some of this stuff, because he said the amount of like craft that goes into making a sound so simple like that, but the perfect noise when you hit the volume indicator and it just goes click 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 is like, it's the layers of it and the synth sound design that goes into that. It's actually pretty intense. But anyway, so that
I'm pretty sure I hear him every day. Like he's done some of the apps I use daily.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah. Now, the other thing though is I wonder if anybody, I have a hunch, but I wonder if anyone in the comments can guess this soundbite from Ernst, what that's from. I'm going to play it again.
I know.
Do you? Okay, good, because I have a hunch. I don't even know for sure. But okay, let's play it again here. Wait.
Hi there, everybody. How you doing? You okay?
All right. Now we'll let people throw it out in the comments what they think it is. Mattias,
I have no idea.
I'm gonna play a little guessing game with Mattias here, since you definitely know what it is, Mattias.
Pretty sure. I might be wrong, and that would be super awkward, but I think I'm right.
Now I'm gonna ask you a leading question.
Leading questions.
It'd be like, it would be clues for them if because they're 40 seconds behind.
Exactly.
So, okay. Yeah. So my hunch is that soundbite of Ernst comes from roughly around 2012 or 13. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Now I think it's 2012 to be exact.
2012. That's okay. That would have been my guess. Now my second clue / ask you is that soundbite of Ernst? It's Ernst, a Swede, but he's not saying that in Sweden. He's in another country when he says that.
That is also correct, if my hunch is correct.
Okay, I think we have the same hunch. All right, let's see. I don't know if anyone's going to get this. You'd have to. I think you probably had to have lived it to.
I'm seeing some people. I'm seeing at least one correct answer.
Oh, do you? Wait. Okay, wait. I got to scroll up here. Hang on a second. Hang on. Where's the? I see people talking about Ernst, but I don't even see suggestions.
Oh, maybe you're behind. I very much not
Ryan,
behind.
I think you should play the song loud in a quiet level behind us discussing, because it's totally worth it.
You don't like just hearing me read?
Yeah, I think it's a good groove, though.
It is a good groove. I'll play it.
It's also oldish and in a way.
But I think the groove in the drums is a bit. That's more.
Yeah.
Post 90s, I think.
That's what is it? Post what?
It's post 90s. It's that's later.
Yeah, it is. It's
yeah. That's sort of
Yeah.
what became kind of the seed from which trap sprung. Yeah.
So
now.
then?
Okay, I have confirmed what it was.
So now I do believe, if I'm going to find the comment again, I think if I scanned correctly, the winning guess came in from Joey Luck. He says, rack extension announcement. Is that what you thought too? That's what I thought.
That's what it was, but it was a double announcement. It was rack extension and
we'll throw it out in the comments. 2 announcements, same press conference. Who can get that?
And in fact, one of the announcements was before the rack extension announcement.
You're saying that? In fact, I guess
we opened with the other one.
We opened with the other announcement. So technically, if you want to be super strict, this was the soundbite of Ernst saying, "Hey, is everybody ready?" That is us getting ready to make the second announcement. That is true. Joey Luck still gets credited for the correct guess, but there's bonus points that could be had.
And I think I've seen some correct answers here. David Generato and the Fixer.
Oh, let me scroll up.
Correct.
Let's throw. Oh, I can't read fast enough. Oh, there we go. Yeah, David Generato. Figure for the iPhone.
Exactly.
There you go.
At the same time, right? It's one of the few times that I can remember that we had a proper press conference.
That was at the Frankfurt trade show.
Don't really do anymore.
Music Messe, which is sort of the European Euronam. And yeah, that was a big press conference that I have traumatic memories of, because this is, funny to be talking about this on a live stream. We didn't have the ability to live stream back then. And so I filmed it, and then I had to compress the video for YouTube and then upload it to the world. From the hotel that did not have good bandwidth. And so I was up all night watching a progress bar of this file trying to upload, and it was just taking forever. And then around 8 a.m., I was like, this is just going to take the rest of the day. So I went and bought one of those little probably 3G dongles that you could put in your laptop. And I put it in my laptop while I then walked to another hotel that promised me on the phone they had faster internet. So like during the transit time, it was still the progress bar was ticking along from the dongle. Then I got to the hotel lobby, got on their faster Wi-Fi. It wasn't faster at all. I didn't sleep the whole night. I was miserable, but we got it out to the world. So at least Joey Luck remembered it. All my work was worth
hero. But now you're a song.
Yeah, now you're a song.
I sung my own song. All right, guys, listen. It is. I've had you on here for 2 hours, and I'm aware that I'm gonna let you guys get to the rest of your lives, your animals, your whatnots.
Well, he fell asleep, so we're all good.
I'm going to load up some song as an outro tune here while we say goodbye. Let's do Rick Domini, Midnight Ride. Let's go for that one. And I'm just gonna hit play on that one. Oh wait, I'm gonna jump ahead for a second. Oh yeah, it's got the wobble bass. But listen, I'm gonna turn that down while we say our goodbyes here, and I'm gonna let you guys go. Thanks so much for doing this. It's so nice to be on these streams with you guys. I'm glad you give me a little bit of your evening time, because I know I'm coming to you. You know, it's this forced overtime that I'm asking of you. But
no worries.
It's so great. And Stefan too. We should point out Stefan every week spending his evenings with you guys in the chat. Big shout out to Stefan for doing that. But that's it. How's it feel? We are 20 years old now. We can almost drink in the States.
Believe it.
I know.
Systembolaget, är det, right?
What?
I think so. Yeah.
Systembolaget, that's the liquor store in Sweden.
We can buy booze in Sweden.
Yeah, but you guys have been able to buy booze. Reason's been able to buy booze in Sweden for 2 years. But
that's true.
In the States,
only in bars.
Reason
only in bars.
Only. Oh, right. Okay. Excellent. Well, guys, thanks so much for looking at these tunes with me, putting together the goodie bag. All the stuff that you guys did for the Reason community certainly hasn't gone unappreciated by me or everybody else. So, thank you so much. And
thank you.
Thank everyone here that uses Reason and makes a bunch of music.
Thanks to all our users.
That's why we wake up and do work every morning.
That is true. Cool. Okay, well, guys, take care. And I'm just going to say a couple of goodbyes here to you guys watching here. I want to let you know we're going to be around next week. And we've got a guest. Her name is Bayoun, and she is a producer, acid. I think it's safe to call her an acid house producer out of DJ Pierre's camp in Atlanta. And she's going to be on. We're going to be talking about patterns and what makes patterns cool, I guess, because that's so central to that style of music. So you're going to want to check that out. She's fantastic and just a nice lady. But also, come back the week after that. We got 2 shows left in this, I guess we would call it season 1 of the Reason live stream, because then it's going to be the Christmas holidays and stuff. So we're going to take a little hiatus after that. So we got 2 episodes left to join us. Come back for both of them, and I will see you next week on the Reason live stream. Hope you guys make some music today. Let's all do that.